Under the blazing sun of Italy, Call Me by Your Name is not just a movie. It is a wave of emotion sweeping through the soul, leaving an echo like the final notes of a faded summer, a longing for love growing ever stronger. Amidst breathtaking scenery, a budding romance, both sweet and intense, burning and leaving ashes in the viewer's heart, the story begins. In the summer of 1983, gentle breezes carry moisture through the garden, flowing up the stairs, quietly drifting into the room of 17-year-old Elio. Every year during this season, their family comes to this small town for summer vacation. As usual, the father, Adam, an archaeologist, invites a student assistant and lets them stay in the house. This means Elio is forced to share his room with a stranger, and Oliver, exhausted from the long trip, falls asleep until dinner time, still showing no signs of waking. To avoid an awkward moment, Elio deliberately drops a book to the floor, creating a noise. Oliver wakes with a start. He apologizes, saying he was truly exhausted, and skips dinner that night. The next morning, Oliver comes downstairs refreshed and fully awake, cheerfully chatting with everyone at the table, showing no trace of formality. Elio's mother notices he really enjoys fried egg and encourages him to have a few more, but Oliver keeps shaking his head in polite refusal. A light-hearted joke reveals his composure and restraint, causing Elio to steal a few glances. He notices that, despite being American, Oliver wears a necklace around his neck, a symbol of the Jewish faith. Elio has one too, but has never worn it openly, because his mother always told him to be a modest and cautious Jew. After breakfast, Oliver says he wants to go to the town bank to open an account. Elio naturally becomes his guide. The two ride their bike, chatting cheerfully. A lonely crow perches on a Mediterranean pine tree, softly singing a few melodious notes, but soon drowned out by the buzzing of cicadas. While talking, Oliver casually pulls up his pants. His uninhibited manner is something Elio has never seen before. Elio grows more and more curious about this man, but every time he tries to get closer, Oliver always responds coldly with one phrase, "All right." Later, after returning home, Oliver and Adam begin working. Adam casually accepts a glass of juice from his wife, and starts talking about the origin of the word Italy. Hearing this, Oliver frowns, and immediately corrects Adam's inaccuracy. Surprisingly, Adam isn't embarrassed at all by this. Instead, he looks impressed. Elio, half lying on the sofa, can't help but glance over, growing even more curious about this learned man. From then on, he quietly observes Oliver's every move, without knowing when. Oliver has become the most sought-after person in town, not only teaching the uncles at the bar how to play cards, but also dominating the soccer field with the girls. It seems that anything in front of him becomes incredibly easy. Oliver's charm radiates with vitality on the sports field, amplified to the extreme, drawing wave after wave of cheers from the girls. At the same time, it causes Elio, an innocent teenager driven by primal hormone, to feel, for the first time, emotions beyond gender. Just as he hands water to a teammate, Oliver suddenly grabs it and downs it in one gulp, with a completely casual motion. Placing his hand on Elio's shoulder, the two look extremely close, maybe afraid the other would notice his feeling. Elio quickly pulled away from the touch, but Oliver had no intention of stopping. He kept massaging Elio's shoulders, and teased that he was as stiff as a chair. While talking, he called Marzia over to help, then said later, and casually returned to the soccer field. At that moment, Elio didn't know how to react. He awkwardly walked away, without even realizing. His face was flushed with anger. Back home, Elio stared at himself in the mirror, carefully shaving the barely there peach fuzz, then frowned, as if angry at himself for caring too much. After grooming carefully, Elio realized the person he was hoping to see never came. He tried to hide his disappointment, and in front of everyone, he complained about Oliver. Elio's deep eyes still followed Oliver's plate as it was cleared away, his restless heart leaving along with it. Thinking about that man all night, Elio tossed and turned, unable to fall asleep. Cicadas buzzed through the summer night. The sun rose brightly. Elio still lay in bed, his mind filled only with thoughts of that distant man. His hand slid down unconsciously, and to his surprise, the man actually appeared. Scene change, water splashes in the pool. The afternoon air is filled with laziness and longing. Blazing sunlight pours down intensely, making everyone wear sunglasses, as if to hide their inner feeling. Putting on a mask of pretense, Elio leans gently by the pool, his gaze following Oliver's every move. Perhaps sensing something, Oliver surfaces from the water, and asks what Elio was thinking just now, but Elio only smiles without answering. After leaving the pool, Elio plays the guitar, while Oliver lies reading on the nearby lawn. He suddenly hears a few notes, and asks Elio to play it again. To his surprise, Elio invites him inside, and plays it again on the piano, but Elio mischievously transforms Bach's piece, in the style of Liszt, which annoys Oliver. Seeing his expression, Elio looks even more pleased. In fact, from the first time he played it, he already knew which melody would move Oliver. He just wanted to see his reaction when frustrated, not hearing the piece he liked. Oliver turns and leaves, but the original piece starts playing in the room. An ambiguous atmosphere immediately fills the air, though no words are spoken. It seems they have reached an understanding. Not long after, at a dance party, Oliver dances intimately with a girl. The two gaze passionately at each other, like a perfect match. Elio witnesses it firsthand. The girl slides her thigh secretly between Oliver's legs. This was proof enough that their relationship was far deeper than Elio had imagined. Seeing them like that, Elio's heart grew restless. He couldn't understand why Chiara could so easily do what he had long wished for. So Elio sulkily rushed to the dance floor and danced with Marzia, the girl who secretly loved him. They danced wildly together. The next morning at breakfast, Elio deliberately mentions in front of everyone the progress between him and Marzia, and asserts that if he just dared to take her hand, Marzia would surely agree. He seemed to want to see jealousy on Oliver's face, but Oliver only replied with, "Wow." Adam keenly noticed the tension between them, and suggested taking them to the lake to see some newly salvaged artifact. Before they left, Chiara showed up, and walked closely beside Oliver. That clingy demeanor made jealousy surge in Elio's heart, but outwardly, he kept praising her, saying Chiara was charming, graceful. He even enthusiastically wanted to set them up. After this teasing, Oliver finally got angry, which secretly pleased Elio. When they arrived, they found a broken arm by the lakeshore. Elio took the opportunity to reach out and make peace. Oliver grabbed the broken arm and responded without hesitation. As the sunset gradually descended, the waves gently lapped the shore. They splashed around in the water, for the first time carefree, shouting each other's name. The next day, they visited a post-war historic site. Elio knew its history by heart and passionately shared it. Of course, Oliver understood what he was saying, but it wasn't something they should bring up between them. If Elio had held on to some hope before, now, that hope had blown away with the wind. Only the scenery and the weather remained to console his broken heart. Elio led Oliver away from the mainland, riding toward the cliff, finally reaching a secret place known only to him. A small, quiet bay lay silently below them. No signs of civilization, no houses, no glass windows, no fishing boats. Here, they could cast off all burden. No need to worry about the gaze of society. Then, Oliver reached out his finger, gently brushing Elio's lip. He could no longer hold back, and kissed the boy who had stirred his heart. They composed themselves, pretending nothing had happened as they returned home. Just as guests were having a heated discussion in the yard, Elio pretended to listen intently, but inside, he was suppressing strong emotion. His foot mischievously fidgeted under the table. The summer heat combined with the tension inside, causing him to have a nosebleed. Elio ran to the kitchen to get ice to cool it down. Oliver quickly followed him in. Oliver lifted Elio's leg and massaged it, first gently holding his ankle, then placing a kiss on it. After that, to show his feeling, Elio also wore a matching necklace like Oliver's. His mother saw everything, and understood her son's heart. These two necklaces were exactly the same. Elio thought that, after they bravely took that first step, their hearts would be completely open to each other. But reality was like a bucket of cold water, putting out all of his hopes. In the days that followed, Oliver kept disappearing. Elio could only stare at the gate, hoping he would return soon. The night's silence was only broken by the sound of insects, and as time passed, his hope slowly faded. Not until midnight did Oliver finally return, looking tired. Elio thought Oliver had been out having fun with the girls. A bitter feeling slowly spread through his heart. The next day, the sun was still blazing. Elio kept calling Marzia as if to repeat something. That night he deliberately stayed out late, as if avoiding something. When dawn gently passed through the curtain, Elio returned home, just as Oliver was coming down the stairs, teasing him about the night before. Elio avoided his gaze, and chose to remain silent. In truth, he was deeply conflicted inside, wanting to pretend nothing had happened, but longing to be understood. That desire still burned in his heart. One lazy afternoon, sunlight filtered through the leaves, creating sparkling light spots. A special couple came to visit Elio's house. Their gentle gestures toward each other once again touched Elio's heart. On the meaning of love, he returned to his room, and found a note left by Oliver. It read, "Meet me at midnight." Joy spread through him like a spring breeze. He spun around excitedly again and again. The midnight bell rang softly. Stars sparkled in the rooftop sky. Elio arrived right on time. Normally so confident with girls, he now felt like a frightened young deer, his heart in turmoil. In the hazy darkness, Oliver's hand gently touched him. No words were needed. Their hearts were already in sync. They went into the room, at first just chatting casually, trying to hide their rising emotions, but their intense love eventually broke down all barriers, making them embrace each other tightly, sharing a passionate kiss. All doubts they had, all hesitation, all mask, the distance between them vanished in that moment. As all defenses were dropped, their hearts had never been so close. But then, every beautiful summer must come to an end, and the day of Oliver's departure drew near. These 6 short weeks felt to Elio like a lifetime. Before their farewell, with his parents' thoughtful arrangement, they set off on one last trip. The mountain breeze blew gently, leaves rustled softly, like a farewell melody in the air. They ran like the wind, calling each other's names across the hills, their voices echoing through the valley. Night fell. They walked hand in hand through unfamiliar alleys. Happiness filled every corner. The next morning, before the sunlight could fill the earth, Elio wore the blue shirt Oliver had worn when he first arrived. Standing by the car, he hugged him tightly, as if wanting to become one with him. Elio watched the train slowly leave the station, his eyes following Oliver's fading figure. He sat alone on the bench for a long time. The whole world around him seemed silent. Then he called home. His voice carried a sadness he had never noticed before. On the way back, the boy could no longer hold back the pain inside, and cried like a child. When he got home, his father was already waiting on the sofa. He was not like other parents. He didn't wish for this to end quickly, nor did he hope his son would soon forget this love. On the contrary, he wanted Elio to feel this pain, because it would be an unforgettable summer in his life. That winter, Oliver's call finally came after many days of waiting. That familiar voice came through the phone, instantly stirring countless emotions in the young man's heart. Elio quietly hung up the phone, and slowly sat down by the fireplace. The flames crackled, illuminating his tear-filled eyes. In that bright firelight, his mind wandered, as if traveling through time, back to that innocent summer of his youth, back to the most beautiful and precious days of his life. They quietly looked at each other again as before. When their eyes met, "Call me by your name." It was a meeting, a story whose ending was known from the start. In this brief summer, that felt as long as a lifetime. After watching this film, I suddenly realized that this kind of love is so fragile, passing like the wind. I think neither Elio nor Oliver imagined that one summer alone would haunt them for 20 years. Perhaps that's what love is. It has nothing to do with gender or age. I am Film Focus. See you next time.